All right, well, we're gonna go try to perform a rescue here. Got a neighbor who was, I was in front and then there was a car behind me. He pulled over his sprayer in the ditch to get out of the car's way because the car would not wait in my driveway. And now he's about tipped over. So the 4150, this might be its day to shine. It's not hooked to anything. So let's see if it'll, first of all, start. Then we should probably put a little bit of fuel in it. And then we'll see if we can make her go. I hope it will. Ooh. Oh, is it not gonna play ball? That's about right. Why won't you run? Come on. Well, of course when I need it, it's gonna let me down. Let's see. There's a chain in the, or a pin. Yeah. Let's let it sit here. And I was not prepared for anything like this. Idle. I don't want it to die. Right in the middle of the road. Just do that. All right, trains. All right, let's see if this thing can earn its keep. Good we can do here. It's leaning over pretty good. Yep. crank cylinder leaks pretty bad. That's why we haven't been taking this to the field. I don't know, one way or the other. Yeah. So we're gonna have to address that before we use it. I could not get this thing pulled out. What do you think, Buddy the dog? We're just making it worse. So, I don't know. Hang in there, hydraulic oil. We need you for a little bit yet. I'm gonna try to go to the back and pull him the other way and see if that would maybe jump out of there. But so far it don't look good. was a lot of, I don't know, there was a lot working against us. But the old 4150 did the job. It's definitely earned a steering cylinder kit, because I don't know how much hydraulic oil I lost during that affair, but yeah. Sleep. Good tractor. All of that was caused by a car who couldn't wait. And that is so frustrating, because if they would have had enough sense to pull in my driveway right after me, wouldn't even have had to turn in. Just, there's enough room to, you know, be parallel to the road. If they would have done that, that never would have happened. That probably cost me an hour of time, plus, you know, whatever, fuel, wear and tear, because some other idiot motorist couldn't do, you know, the polite thing. That burns me up that it wasn't his fault. You know, he tried to get over, but the ground's just too soft. We just, it was there until it wasn't. He was driving along just fine in it, and then all at once, that was it. So if you meet a piece of equipment on the road, don't be a dummy. Pull over and stop, you know, in someone's driveway or something, so that you don't cause a problem like that. Now I'm going to have to work twice as hard to make up for that hour that I lost. I hope it doesn't rain on this. I want to spread this last bit of fertilizer. I did one field soybean fertilizer, got that done, went back, got the other one, hurried up and ran back and get fuel because it's a holiday, and I didn't figure that, you know, they'd be open long enough. And then when I got home, I saw this, and I can't just turn and walk the other way and not do something to help somebody. I mean, it was almost to the point that I thought we'd have to call the wrecker with the crane, but luckily we were able to make it happen. So, at any rate, what have we got going? So, I didn't have enough time to run back with the same spreader that I had, so they filled another one and then had it loaded and waiting for me after they left. And that's great, except for I'm afraid this spreader is not the best. Come on. I hope it'll make it, but I mean, it's equally as crap as the other one, but we'll see. I'm exhausted now. That was stressful, but I'm glad it's over with. So, yeah, I just got to take a minute here and get my breath back. I don't like being in situations where I'm in the middle of the road. You know, if that 4150 would have laid down, we would have had two things in the road. So, I don't know. But yeah, I noticed that this has settled, so it probably needs those cylinders rebuilt too. But I gotta say, this thing did great. We'll see how the stuff comes up, but it performed today for being not planting for who knows how long. It did the thing. See, tomorrow is going to be terrible rain. I mean, there's no chance we're gonna miss it. It looks a lot. So I wanted to try to get this ready, where I even wanted to go over it like disc one more time, so that the only thing left to do was maybe like soil finish it once, and then we could plant into it whenever that is, because I'm sure I'll have to work it after it. If it gets just dumped on with rain, I'm gonna have to do something to cut it open, even though I really don't want to make that many passes. It's just the way it is. Okay, I don't even know what I'm doing now. That was quite the Yeah. Didn't think I'd be doing that today, or ever really. Pulling out a sprayer that was about to tip over. All right. Come on, faithful horsey. Well. Might as well go down here and turn around. Destroying the fence, which I figured was going to happen anytime. I figured it was going to lay over and start tearing out fence, which is okay, there's nothing in here, but I'm amazed that we might have got into that one post a little bit, but we sure made a, yeah. You can see his trail. I think I just saw a sprinkle. Let's switch to an actual field gear. Marvelous, you're getting too hot already. Now, let's hope this rickety thing can do this one more time. Let's see what. Did we hit the teeth? Yes. Alright, I never remember. Let's go about 4. Yeah, more of the same. I guess I should have got the drone, but I gotta get this done. I don't have time now. I don't know when that rain's gonna start, but it's gonna start sometime. Hitting the ground. Yeah, I see them. So pretty well more of the same. I don't think you need to sit and watch all this. I'll bring you back if something interesting happens. All right, we're entering the whatever 12th hour of today's work, but no, that's fine. I want to get this done. I put fuel in there. I topped off my little tank. It was full. It just needed a little. Now it's out of the overflow tube, getting rid of what it doesn't need. So I probably should have just left it alone. But yeah. I don't know if this 4180 would have done better on pulling that sprayer. It sits up slightly higher. It's technically heavier built, but power was not the problem. Traction was my problem. So, at any rate, I'm just glad I didn't have to find out. I really didn't feel like unhooking. And I know he didn't feel like hiring a crane to pick it up out of there. That would have been expensive. So sure. I've already run this tractor with this different radiator and it worked fine. So we'll see what it does today. Hopefully it doesn't self-destruct, but it ran right at the edge of the green, and that's where I like it to be. So that's what we want. Running out of hands here. Dropped my pop and everything else. So I'm going to try to get you some drone of this as soon as I outline the edge of the field. Then I'll get you some drone shots. I should be holding you towards the action, you know. That deep. I'm just mainly interested in working in that fertilizer and also doing a little smoothing. Finisher over it, whether that be the Landau back in commission or that field cultivator. Truth be told, this half could probably get by with just finishing work, but this is faster. So since that rain's coming, I just as soon work that in. It's not as big a deal to me as the corn fertilizer because it doesn't have as much nitrogen in it. And I don't know if that's true anymore, but I always heard that the sun would bake the nitrogen away. So you wanted to get it worked in or something. I'm sure they probably have it encapsulated with something fancier now so that doesn't happen. But either way, it can't hurt to have it under the ground. this old warhorse did it again. So we're in about as good a shape as we can be before it rains. Hopefully it doesn't rain too much, and then I could get out there at the end of the week and get this done. At any rate, I should be done with this rig over here so I can move it on to the next place so it's sitting there ready to go. But I'm gonna go ahead and fill it up with fuel and then call it a day. So yeah, kind of an interesting video with a little bit of everything in it. So yeah, hopefully you found something that you could stand to watch. If not, sorry about your luck. But I'm gonna leave this one here. After watching what you just saw, do you feel like your IQ has dropped lower than your credit score? Well, there's no reason that both of us should be miserable, so go ahead and hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. That stuff costs you nothing, and it really helps me out. Your banker may not approve, but I know mine will. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.